Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Shooting Womp Rats, where I'm Daniel.
And I'm Don.
And we're here joining you on this wonderful, what was the word we were going for? Blobbler Day?
Blobbler Day.
A Blobbler Day edition of the podcast.
That's right. Sorry, Daniel, that mighty four-legged fowl. Yes.
That must be hunted down and processed in however way your species chooses.
Yes, and they live on a planet that is 325 degrees Fahrenheit, so, cooked blobbers all day long. Love it, love it, love it. A little bit of ranberry sauce on the side, and we're good to go.
So starting off, let's hit up the news. And, of course, your posts.
Yep, this week I think there was some pretty good stuff. We had Random Adventure 15 get posted, which basically required the players to board an enemy vessel, and this is going to take place in some type of urban environment setting, and some way TIE fighters are going to be thrown into the mix. Maybe even TIE bombers. Who knows? Anarchy. The end is near, cats and dogs lying together. It's crazy.
But they do that now.
Well, I know our dogs and cats like each other. So. I tell you what, one of the things that we did see that was a person, actually I posted it to get things kind of started, was a basic idea to go with that adventure. And what it was is, I'm trying to remember exactly how I had it set up. It was set up that the players find a planet with a mixed species population. It's ruled over by a power-hungry, despotic ruler. Their ship has been stolen and stored within the castle. Now, it turns out that the castle is really an old space luxury cruiser that had crashed on the planet, or landed on the planet. And these are kind of like the descendants of the people that were on there. And basically what happens is they find out that some of this castle/luxury liner works and some of it doesn't. And further investigation reveals that the droid brain the droid brain from the ship is the real puppet master behind the throne. So the players need to discover what is going on, save the population from the evil droid brain, and get their ship back.
All right.
Yeah, just a little extra something. Another something extra is the Random Adventure number 8, which actually revolves around the idea of the adventure taking place in a virtual reality, kind of a cyberpunk feel. The character of the week, number 15, was Rent Ompel, who is an Ithorian space junk collector who is often accused of being a grave robber, and it upsets him a great deal when people do that, but that's what happens when you're a space junk farmer. Rumor Wednesday was a servant race in the expansion region has rebelled. Someone posted an expansion on that, said that it was the Wookiees were rebelling, and because of their what they've done in the past, as well as just their how the rest of the galaxy looks on them, the Empire has got to put this down if indeed that's what's happening. And the Wookiees, I mean, they're always stirring up trouble. I mean, geez, walking carpets and the whole deal. Let's see. Planet Thursday sees the planet Aphel, which is a somewhat primitive planet in the Outer Rim. We're kind of like the Outer Rim and expansion areas this week. And basically, Aphel has little contact with the Empire and is ruled by a representative democracy. What would the Empire think if they could find this planet?
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, what was your character of the week, Daniel?
Hondo Ohnaka, my kind of scum.
I like him.
As a child, he was sold into slavery, escaped his first master, ended up in the service of a Hutt, and spent some time advising this Hutt, building up his own little empire, and then he escaped from the Hutt. Now he leads a band of pirates.
I like him. He's even, it's kind of one of those things where it's actually taken from the droids. I'm sorry, not droids. The Clone Wars animated series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like his character because it's not all about his type of character. It's a pirate, but he doesn't He's not stealing ships and, selling people into slavery and killing entire crews. He's much more complicated than that, and I really like that about his character.
His big thing is spice. He sells spice.
Yeah, spice, bad stuff. Bad stuff. I've been reading about that in the books. Bad stuff.
But I think his biggest claim to history would be not only did he manage to capture Count Dooku, but he also used Dooku as bait and ended up capturing Anakin and Obi-Wan and using all three of them as hostages for ransom. I thought that was awesome.
Yep. I tell you what, you bring up Dooku, and I just got to ask. I'm wondering about this. Do you think anybody at Lucasfilm walked around the office and went, you know what? Somebody really has to tell George Dooku. And seriously, do you think there was anybody in the office that walked around and went, Dookie? His name's Dookie. Seriously. Sometimes I scratch my head over some of the stuff, but Dooku's the big one because the movies were obviously, in my opinion, written for a younger crowd. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea is, I'm quite sure there's some kids out there that when they first saw the movie, they went, Dookie! His name's Dookie! And, I don't know. I gotta shake my head. It's Star Wars. Anyway, he dies. I don't think I'm giving anything away. Dooku dies.
Well, I think now that's enough of the news, but now we're going to belly up to not just the Ronto buffet this time, folks. It's going to be the Blobbler Day buffet.
With cranberry sauce!
Yeah, exactly.
All you can eat. I want one of the 4 legs. And you know what's really nice about it? Because we get to create this race, or this little animal, Daniel. Mm-hmm. The legs, unlike a regular trick legs, got all those little spines in it that kind of get in the way of, like, the good stuff. Our Blobblers don't.
They're genetically bred.
That's right. They're genetically bred with breading on the outside. Deep pat fried Blobblers.
Ty Kane has posted in the community a work in progress called the Star Wars Optional Rules Resource. This is a compilation of all the optional rules from the official West End Games books compiled in one place.
Yep. Ty started it. He's been hand transcribing, for the most part, all the stuff that he's been putting up there. I know Chris C. has been contributing to that. I've been contributing to it heavily. I do believe the book currently weighs in at 88 pages without pictures. And I do believe that at this time, like 80 or 90 some odd pages, I think the book is about 3/4 done. So maybe this weekend it may be at least have all the text put together.
And I intend on giving it the Dark Times treatment as soon as it's finished.
Yep, I heard. Yeah, I was going to say, Ty said that you had bellied up and said that you'd go off and do like the editing thing. Mm-hmm. And I backed you up, man. I said, you know what, Daniel, he's a great choice because he's really banged out my droids.
Do you see the hint he's making here, folks?
No, I would never drop a hint. Maybe a boulder, but never a hint. All right, moving on. Chris C. has posted some preliminary work to convert force powers and skills to fit with the Open D6 rules. What he's planning to do is converting the force powers to what are called extra normal abilities under the Open D6 rules. So hopefully we'll see more of this, sort of an interesting twist, and perhaps even updating the force rules so that they're maybe not so clunky. But like I said, it's in the preliminary stage. He's thrown out like the suggestion, but he hasn't really put up much content. So those of us in the community encourage Chris C. Do this. It'll be so awesomely cool.
Josh Mannon is busy this week with several discussions. He started off with a GM record-keeping idea called fronts. He pulled this idea from another system. Each front has a name, an impending doom, which is its purpose, a list of agendas, things that it wants to get done, a cast, and threats.
So I thought it was interesting. Like I said, it's more of a record-keeping thing. I don't know, Daniel. What were your thoughts on it? I mean, you You'd had more of a chance to look at it than I did.
I think it's an excellent GM resource for building a campaign that did not, fall under the usual auspices of a campaign. If you wanted to create a faction, like a criminal element or a military or even a government, this would fall into place here. But
so is this more in place of like organizations as opposed to events?
Right.
Okay, so it's a short form for creating a group that may or may not be something you're using in your main campaign, but could use maybe at the drop of a hat, just going off and referring to the short form.
That's what I feel.
Okay, well, not a bad idea. Like I said, I looked at it. I kind of liked the idea that was behind it. But anyway, I tell you what, Josh has actually been really active this last week. In fact, he kicked out an XP variant, which I am kind of interested in taking a closer look at. Basically, he suggests that character points cannot be used immediately for advancement. Character points are now known as adventure points, and during gameplay, adventure points are used exactly like character points to affect die rolls, but when an adventure point is used, it converts to a character point. So what it allows the people to do is be more heroic more often without having to give up the ability to, improve their character. Now, these are, the character points, anyhow, are used to improve character skills and attributes per normal, but furthermore, the GM may incur an exchange rate on the character points. So, for example, 5 advancement points equals 1 character point. So the idea is twofold. It allows the characters to freely spend character adventure points during an adventure, doing all kinds of Star Wars goodness without having to be concerned about doing cool stuff over advancing. So it also allows the game master to tailor the game to keep the numbers creep from rearing its ugly head by using that ratio thing I was just talking about, the ratio advancement. Or am I making sense, or am I rambling? Talk to me, Daniel.
You're making sense to me, but I personally don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, it might be something worth testing to see how it would apply, but to me, your characters need to make choices. If you're going to do something heroic, yeah, but understand that it comes at a cost.
Right, I get it. I liked it only because the idea was if you wanted to have like a really pulpy Star Wars feel to it, where people are spending character points left and right to do all kinds. So basically, instead of starting off an adventure, say with giving your characters 5 character points to spend through it, say you gave them 15. All right, and then you can go off and just kind of spend those a lot freer. And say that you had an exchange rate of 5 to 1 or 3 to 1, and they use all 15 of those character points during gameplay. At the end, the exchange rate would be they'd only have 5 character points to improve their character as opposed to 15, but they got to do all this cool stuff in the meantime. I'm just saying it just allows you to help tailor your game to have the feel that you want. I don't know. I think it's worth exploring.
I agree with that. That at the very least, it's worth exploring.
Well, we're all about exploration, aren't we?
A suggested limitation of not allowing skills to improve higher than double its base attribute. Don's not sure how he feels about this one, but this seems almost too limiting. And granted, the main characters of Star Wars are exceptional, but so are the players. With this rule in place, their skill levels are unachievable. I think this is one of the balancing rule mechanics that looks good on paper but really doesn't work. It needs testing.
I agree, but I mean, the bottom line is this, is like with humans, the top cap is 4D in any attribute, which means that a player character could never have a skill higher than 8D, which, for long-term players, I'm going to play for a couple of years with the same character. I mean, they're not going to get to the level of the movie characters. And I don't know if that's really something that's really should be achieved